out here, solo, safe, bandana at the ready, nobody around, and I'm riding this bike, which is great. It has treated me well for the last year or three, but last ride out on it, I grenaded the rear wheel completely. You'll notice that the front one looks like that, the back one looks like that. So the front one is a UST D-Max, Mavic D-Max UST, the original generation of those, and they've been great. I've had them since they were a brand new product, and when Mavic helped me out with that sort of thing, and fantastic wheels, and obviously they're many years old. They don't owe me anything, but I finally wrecked the rear one, ripped some spokes clean out of the rim, beyond repair, especially since parts are basically non-existent for those. So I had to pull down this from the stash. That is a Crossmax SX, I think. The decals are impossible to read on these wheels. Anyway, it's a newer generation wheel. It's not brand new. It's new to me. And it's light and it's nice and it's reasonably true and round and all of that. And it's fine. I'm gonna ride it. But that's my last, I think basically my last viable 26-inch rear wheel. I have no more in reserve, really. I mean, I think I might have one, but I'm gonna need that for another thing. So that calls into question the entire nature of this bike. So some of you might think I ride 26s because I love them, and they're fine. It's just all I've ever known. And I'm starting to look at building up a modern bike. And I've said this in other videos, but I'll say it again. By modern, I mean a newer steel hardtail. And I'll take you guys through like how I'm going to pick a maker or a model and all that sort of business here as I get to that point. But we're back out on this. This is mostly a shakedown ride because it's a new wheel. And you always do a shakedown ride. But it's hot and I'm running late and it's real pretty. Anyway, let's go up this hill. Right, so some of you might be wondering what my good God, you're loud. What my preliminary thoughts are about a bike, and I can share a couple with you. Let's see. Besides the fact, steel, mostly because of budgetary reasons. If you want custom work done in anything other than steel, it costs a lot. I mean, titanium and would be great, but I'm not willing to spend that kind of money right now, unless someone out there wants to hook a brother up. So yeah, steel. There are some aluminum makers out there, and I have owned aluminum mountain bikes before, several of them, and they're fine. Honestly, I think I am less reluctant, I am more enthusiastic to ride an aluminum mountain bike than I am an aluminum road bike, because I think when you're going to strap a suspension fork to the front and big fat tires and all that, the stiffness of the frame maybe isn't the same sort of drawback that it is when you're running like 28s or 25s or 23s or whatever. So yeah, so probably steel. Given the nature of the stuff that I ride and the twisty and the technical and all that, I'm inclined to stay with 27.5-inch wheels. AKA 650B. I had some experiences with 29s back in the day, and I realized things have changed a lot since then, but they feel very wagon wheelish to me, and I think I want a bit more nimbleness than that, if that makes sense. Likewise, I am thinking about lots of rubber. I run on my current bike 2.4 to 2.5 inch tires on it. And I've always valued traction really, really highly. For the sort of technical riding that I do, it's what makes or breaks stuff. So I'm thinking 27.5 plus, like stuff up in the 2.7, 2.8 range is where I'm currently at, thinking. And I'm thinking right now I'm running a 160 millimeter fork. I think I'd be okay with a little less. I think I'd be okay with 140, 150 in there somewhere, but I really do enjoy long travel hardtails. I had this formative experience back in like, man, I looked it up the other day. I think it was 2000, right? And 2000 was a big transition time with bikes, with mountain bikes. And I got sent out to demo some of Gary Fisher's, look him up. So this is back when they were introducing like the short travel sugar cross country bikes, when those were like the hot business, and they were like, I don't know, like 80 millimeters of travel, like front and rear, light, fast, you know, whatever, race bikes, like Norba XC race bikes. And they had a bunch of those lined up, and that was just not my, even then, that was just not my style. I was already riding stuff that was heavily influenced by the North Shore of Vancouver. Bike Magazine had an article that came out, and that changed a lot of perspective stuff for me. Anyway, but they had an Excalibur there, and it was a aluminum hardtail, and it had a Marzocchi Z2 on the front of it, which was 100 millimeters of travel. That was long travel in those days, and it had big tires, like 2.3s maybe, and it had Hayes hydraulic disc brakes on it, and a riser bar in the front. And I took that thing out and blew my mind what you could get away with a fork like that, and with brakes and tires like that. I've never gone back since that. So I sort of, in some ways, I'm trying to build this spiritual successor to that in some ways. That was sort of an eye-opening formative experience for me. So yeah, I'll get into like geometry stuff, and hell, I might fire up BikeCAD, who knows? and start plotting some stuff out. I've got some numbers and some ideas and all of that, but there'll be some revisions here, and spec and parts and all that business. I can tell you right now, it seems very, very likely that I'll be running Shimano disc brakes. Yeah, I can tell you that now. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna finish off this ride and head home. And these are my after work rides, man. Like, this is just me blowing off steam and clearing my head and heading into a weekend clean and clear and not like burdened by the weight of my week. So yeah, we'll roll out.